Welcome to Wet Noodles episode
Yo,
10.
YouTube.
YouTube, it's on.
Oh, yeah.
It's we'll make it a whole thing. Yeah, Wet Noodles. It's not about noodles. It's about tech. Welcome, Wesley. We got
Oh, yeah?
a bunch of quick news to go through for this week. Surprisingly, big week for gaming as well as a couple of tidbits for VR. Of course, today's Friday. This is Zelda Day. Zelda's coming out, so not really gonna talk about that. Of course, it's a great game. So, but anyways, let's move on to our topics. We'll start with VR, and then we'll move on to things that are not VR related if we have the time. And I think a good thing to do for these podcasts is maybe to start with a quick because maybe you have people that come by that want to know about VR. They don't know much about the games. Maybe a quick section on the newest good games that came out for VR that people have tried. And
Okay. Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea.
or updates. And we'll just go through it quick because this week we had the update to Zenith. Zenith, for those that don't know, is the MMORPG in VR that is early access by an indie company, and they've done a pretty good job making something as big as it is for how small they are. So definitely check out Zenith. It's on sale. I don't know the sale, 40% off or something like that. It's a pretty good sale. And they had their new update. They added a bunch of stuff, including a new class. So good update. There's also a Fisherman's Tale that came out this week, or another Fisherman's Tale is called. So it's
Another Fisherman's Tale. Yeah.
This is a story-based solo game that makes use of a lot of cool VR tactics to make puzzles, and it has really cool art style. So definitely a cool solo experience in VR. I would definitely check that out.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these experiences are pretty good in gaming and pretty important. So I think that's good that I exist. So there's that. And am I missing any other releases? There was Propagation Paradise Hotel, but that was last week. I think at the end of last week, which is a horror game that also had some pretty good reviews because it looks pretty decent.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
You tried it, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it. I just want to switch it back to normal because, if you're just gonna make the enemies bullet sponges on hard, then that's playing it. In my opinion,
higher difficulties. That's funny.
Yeah, it just turns them into bullet sponges, and that's it. And it's kind of well, that's dumb.
Well, let's talk about some VR tech that happened this week. So, Google had their keynote or conference, whatever you want to call it, this week. And the big thing was, they were announcing this phone. Cool, right? I'm not going to talk about it because that's a whole other thing, but they have a new phone that they want to show off. But something that snuck in there that I don't know how many people caught it. Well, I mean, people who watched it caught it, but I don't know if it was very well looked after, was Google announced a commitment to VR and AR. Like, straight up.
That's pretty sick.
And what does that mean? Well, first off, Google AR and VR is now a Twitter page you can follow, so if you want to see what they're doing. That's
nice. That's fine.
But one of the few things that they announced was a collaboration with Space Invaders. You know, Space Invaders, the classic game.
The old school game, yeah.
So in this commitment to AR and VR, it includes AR, so they announced that they are partnering with Space Invaders to make kind of like I don't know if it's like a Pokemon Go type game, but with Space Invaders, and you have to look around and the Space Invaders take over the city and stuff like that. So interesting step for them, and of course Pokemon Go is so lucrative in terms of how much it's made and how well it's done. So I don't think it's a bad idea for them to do that. I don't know how well it's going to do. I'm not super interested in it, but it's cool that Google, a company that pretty much gave up on VR a long time ago with a Google Cardboard, Google Cardboard was a pretty successful product, even though it's kind of a meme, but they got rid of it fast. The Google Glass was failed. It was taking its time, right? It seems now maybe Google is seeing that VR is doing quite well, and maybe
come back, make the comeback. Yeah.
And maybe it's not so much a comeback. They've always been around, right? It's just something that we think about when it comes to Google.
Into the VR space.
Well, here's what I was going to say, is that Google is one of those companies that they always benefit, right? Think about Apple buying Samsung components for their phones. If Apple does well, Samsung does well, they're not really in competition. The Quest, which has 75% of the market share for VR, is running Android. Google wins when the VR wins. So even if Google didn't do all this, they're still involved in VR and they're still profiting off VR. So this is kind of like, it's a player coming into the scene that it's not like they are behind or that they don't know what's going on, or maybe they want to like see what they can do. I think that Google knows exactly what they're doing. I think that they're a company that has been here for a while and they have the roots, and it's going to be interesting to see. But I don't think this is them coming back. I think this is just them saying, okay, well, let's actually do something now with it, even though we've been doing it, right? So that's kind of how I see it. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. It's a very light announcement. It's just this one game. Dope. They just said, yeah, we have our commitment to it. No one really knows what that means, what this commitment is, so we'll see. They also announced, and there's not much information on this, but they announced a partnership with Samsung in terms of... and all that partnership means is that they're doing something with VR. That's all they said. So not much information there, but really interesting announcements from Google. So now this might be a new company, or not a new company, but another company that is seeing a potential future with this industry, and that's awesome. That's good for us as people who play VR games. People,
that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
getting like Samsung in there as well. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so that's good. I hope that Google makes some good stuff for us.
Yeah. Yeah. No more Gear VR.
Yeah, that was
Samsung Gears or whatever. Yeah, it'd be nice to get like an actual dedicated headset from Samsung, and then plus Google. Maybe they can pull off like what was the original Vive, like between HTC and Valve, right? Maybe Google and Samsung could pull one of those and like make the next like really nice headset or something. Pretty sick.
Yeah. But I hope we don't wait like 4 years like we've been like with Valve, and like it kind of makes sense for them because they're kind of new people coming to this. But like maybe someone like Google, because they're so massive, like Google's one of the biggest companies in the world. Right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe they can push us something faster, and that's actually quality. So we'll see. I doubt we'll see something for a cheap price. I don't know. VR is still pretty expensive how it is, and I'm hoping that as more and more of these companies come in to compete, that goes down and we get better products. So that's at least a potential that this deal with Google and Samsung can bring us. This is more competition, cheaper headsets. That's the hope. So we'll just keep it in mind. Cool that they announced that. It's kind of random this week. They just kind of popped it in there. I was like, damn, got more VR stuff. So good for them.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Now moving on, another weird thing that came out this week. So as you may know, I mean, we've talked about it, but I'm not sure who else follows, like Microsoft. Microsoft, as we've talked about, had a huge like drop of AR because they had the HoloLens, right? They gave up on it. It was like 2 months ago. They like laid off everybody that worked on it. Like they just said, we're done. They dropped it cold turkey.
Yeah, this is unfortunate.
Yeah. So, very strange, but I think it was not too long ago. It didn't really make news, so we didn't talk about it. But not too long ago, somebody from Microsoft was like, yeah, Microsoft has a commitment to VR. And that was it. And everyone's like, like, what? You fired them all. Who? Who's going to be the commitment? So then everyone kind of just brushed it off like, maybe they're just not knowing what's going on, right? Well, I think as of today, it's actually brand new news. A patent that was filed by Microsoft. I don't know how long ago it was filed, but this patent was publicly available today. They have a patent for a headset, XR headset, first off. So it could be like a HoloLens 3, or it could be a brand new headset that has VR in it. And it's a modular headset. So this patent filing, what it shows is like a strap, right? You know how you have like your VR headset, you have a strap. Think of it, even the HoloLens is just a one strap around your head, right? But the patent shows that the person is able to take off the lens, pop, from the band. And the battery in the back, pop it off. So,
weird.
Very interesting. So it's as if they're trying to make this modular headset.
Yeah,
right?
Device.
And that's kind of awesome. Think about like how you can like change the way the strap is. Maybe you can change out the lenses. Like that'd be kind of sick. Like maybe get better lenses in. You put a different battery. Maybe like the strap itself you could do things with. Maybe, and people are actually showing, because Microsoft, when they did do AR right before they dropped it, they were working with companies that were doing like warehouse work, you know, cause they would make a 3D model for the warehouse workers to train on, and they would be wearing like hard hats, right? Like, you know, the hard hats. So in this modular design, they show like you can have a hard hat that has the clip for the display. So you take off the display from the band, get rid of the band, put that on the hard hat, and now you have like a more convenient AR/VR headset for these workers to use.
Yeah.
So very interesting patent, and it's actually
Crazy.
like really that's a really promising patent too. Like even someone like us who's just playing games, like we would love that. We would love the idea of just like I can pop my display out. I want like a higher quality VR headset. Bam! Like I want to just upgrade the battery. Maybe I'll buy like a pro battery or something. You know, like that idea is actually like it's not unique. It's not like Microsoft came up with this. People have been 3D printing things for headsets for a long time, but like it's the first patent from a manufacturer that is like it's inherited. Like it's looks really sick, and I don't know what to really make of this because there wasn't any other news with this patent. It was just as public, and everyone is kind of raising an eyebrow because it's from this big company, Microsoft, that has said they're gone. Like they said, we're not doing this. They moved on to doing AI because they have ChatGPT, and they didn't want to do VR. So it's kind of strange to me, and I don't really know. I don't know what to make of it. I think the patent's amazing. I think that's a cool idea. I don't know if it's just something they scrapped because it's from a company that again I don't see coming into this market. So I would love them to, but I don't know. People are just kind of confused.
Yeah, Microsoft hasn't really made any like products in a while. I feel like any physical products in a while. They always have someone else manufacture it. Yeah, they've been just software. So it'd be kind of interesting. Modularity though kind of worries me because it's like. I don't know, because there's a lot of vaporware, like, modularity devices, I feel like, that were, like, so cool and, like, teased upon, like, cell phones and shit like that, but it never
comes,
like, makes it out. So, yeah, I mean, the idea is really cool, but just hearing modularity kind of already makes me feel like I'm not sure. But
yeah, it definitely has pros, though.
It's a cool idea, and then, it's a cool idea, and then I do see definitely pros, like the hard hat idea and all that. That's really awesome, and even possible military applications and stuff as well is what I know Microsoft was trying with the HoloLens, right?
Yeah.
But then I guess we'll just have to like wait and see with that. But I mean, as you and me have both said in the past, it's great having more people interested in the space and making things for it. So fuck yeah. I hope Microsoft makes some.
Regardless of what happens, I would definitely just hope that we just have another player to give us consumer headsets.
Oh yeah, so, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
For sure. All right. Now, something I want to talk about real quick is actually something from Thrill Seeker, his video. Of course, Thrill Seeker being one of the bigger VR journalists. And we had talked about it briefly, but I want to talk about it again. He made a video this week covering a cheap bodysuit. In the bodysuit you put on, very thin fabric, and the device is supposed to have like vibrations in it. It can actually track where your arms are, so you don't have to actually put an add-on for it. It's actually just going to track, like, you know, all of this stuff, all your feet, all that. You don't have to anything. It's just part of the bodysuit, and it's something like $300, which is cheaper than anything else out there when it comes to not just vibration suit, but doing this. Like, this is more than that.
Yeah.
So, I had two questions about that.
It's like 12-point tracking, if I'm not mistaken.
So, cool video. Definitely recommend checking that out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But my question to you is, full body suit, regardless of how they make it, it's thin material, whatever, cheap, do you think that people want to buy that? Do you think people want to actually put on a suit every time they go into VR? Like, that's something that they want to do?
Not right now. At least not in the States, and probably not Canada. I don't know about how Canadians feel about tech. In Asia, definitely, I can see it. Like like China and Japan and Korea and stuff like that. But it's gonna take a long time for America and whatnot. But you know what that is, right? That's the fucking Netrunner suit from Cyberpunk. Yeah, it's basically what it is, right? Yeah. It's like just a step away from that is like kind of what it's becoming. So we're gonna have like literal Netrunners, people suited up like Netrunners in VR.
That's funny. Yeah.
But I mean, like the whole thing is pretty cool. You know, it's cool that we have more options and cool that there's more stuff like that. But I do agree with you. I think like a full body suit right now is a lot to ask.
My personal
later down the line, I think. Probably.
My personal 2 cents is that like we're starting to get into we're starting to move forward with VR tech where it's getting smaller and smaller, right? Again, we have the big Stream Beyond coming out this year that is literally as big as my phone, smaller than my phone. Like, it's just, and that's what people want. People saw that one crazy because they don't want to put some on their head. They want to just quickly throw this thing they don't even feel and like, oh wow, I'm in the game, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when you're you have a bodysuit, I feel like people are not going to be as interested because like, okay, that's that extra layer. It's almost like we're stepping back now. I'm putting more crap on me, and even if it is nice and light and cheap, like people are still going to be like, they would probably maybe prefer just these trackers because again, if they really want full body, they're already niche, but they probably still want to take that extra step to zip everything up. Okay, I'm getting zipped up. Like, no, I want to put my big screen beyond on. The glasses, they're very small. I'm gonna be good, like I don't want to put this whole suit on. So I feel like the idea is cool and there's gonna be a niche use case, but I don't think this will ever be big. And I like you said, like you think it will take longer for North America to adopt this idea. I don't think it ever will. My opinion is that I don't think it ever will, for that reason that we're moving in this direction that goes away from it. Like we're in a direction already. And from what he says in the video, this bodysuit has been in production for 3 years? I forget the exact amount of years, but this could be
like that.
This could be a result. Yeah, this could be a result of something that we've talked about, like with Apple, where it's like if you work on something for so long and you don't release it, eventually it becomes obsolete. And maybe they didn't foresee 3 years ago that like we all want smaller headsets now. We want small headsets that we don't feel that are nice and light and cool. Like we don't, and it's possible. It's not like the technology is there now. Maybe they just didn't foresee that, and now it's like it's a big ask to be like, now put all this crap on you and play. Like I don't know. I feel like
I think I don't know. I think ultimately they'll have some technology. I don't know if cameras are the way to go or whatnot, but I think there's going to be another option where I do agree with you. It's like wearing less. People don't want to wear all this stuff, and I don't know. Unfortunately, I kind of feel like camera is probably the only way to really do it for now. But even cameras kind of suck because the occlusion and all that stuff. So have to.
One day there will be a solution.
It'll be interesting to see.
One day there will be a solution to this that we don't foresee now because we're so early, right? That's just how it's gonna be. That's how every tech is.
It's gonna be like stickers, dude. Stickers you just stick on the body, and they have some kind of. They don't need power. They don't need anything, but they communicate. Like
they use your skin power. They use the heat.
Probably you won't even need that. Probably just like some kind of. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
That's funny. I could see it.
That or we'll skip it all and then go straight to BCI, and then all that stuff would be nothing. Yeah. Well, we see.
One last quick VR news. Not really VR news, just interesting. If you're looking at the big screen beyond, again, very interesting headset. I think anybody in the VR space or thinking about it should at least look at that headset because it's very interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They just quickly announced that they're going to include an extra strap that goes vertically on your head because people find it more comfortable just to have no anchor. So cool, no extra cost. It's cool to see a company listening to their fans, I guess, or people who are looking into it. Yeah. So that's good.
Customer base.
They're going to be adding some things to make the thing feel more comfortable, but that's about it. Nothing really else for news. So let's move on to just gaming in general because there was definitely a few things.
Sure.
Not going to cover everything, but of course there was Zelda today. I mentioned that briefly. People lining up for it. Seems like nature has healed itself because we hadn't seen that in so long because of COVID. So cool. Happy that did well.
Were people really lining up for it? I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, people were lining up in my city. People were lining up in the city that Sam was from. I saw some pictures on America.
I mean, maybe like last night for like the midnight release. Maybe they did that, I guess.
So. Yeah, for sure. So cool. Good to see that. And probably one of the bigger stories, or maybe the biggest story from this week with gaming, and I think you might know what I'm talking about, is the announcement of the Asus ROG Ally. The big Steam Deck competitor, and it's got the newer version of the same CPU, so it's supposed to be really powerful. They're claiming something like 4 times the amount of power or performance while still having a higher resolution than the Steam Deck. It's notably got a 1080p screen, whereas the Steam Deck has an 800p screen. So I think that this product is good because it is a solution that people want. People want traveling PC gaming, full power. We are getting to the point in technology where we can make CPUs small enough that they can run better than a PS5 or something. Like some crazy CPUs coming out now, and just smash that thing into a small box, and now you got yourself like a Steam Deck, and they're charging the $600 for it. Some $600, $599. The crazy,
very
cheap.
Reasonable. I mean, cheaper. Yeah. You have the power of like a gaming laptop, but without the price tag of the gaming laptop. I read
that
pretty freaking nice.
So I read two things. I read one that basically Asus with this product has effectively removed all Windows issues that these handhelds had, because notably
that's awesome.
with that new CPU, like Windows, the drivers are kind of new. They were new and buggy because, I mean, when the Steam Deck came out, Steam Deck was like really one of the newest, even with the other companies like
devices.
Like WinGPT, whatever that company was called. Even them, like yeah, you know what I mean. Even them,
yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
that doesn't really count because they never really had a full-fledged system like the Steam Deck was, with the whole controller and with that special AMD card that's made for small systems. So there were still a lot of bugs and issues that Valve had, but they still went forward and they had their own OS and it worked well. Now Asus said, let's do that, but let's just make it work on Windows. So now no issues with Steam OS. You got Windows. People are saying it's good, and like no bugs. And I heard another article that said that they've effectively outright obsoleted the Steam Deck, like, outright, like just no question about it. They've improved on it in every single aspect, and that is actually
awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. Because
awesome.
Even if you don't want the product, which I'm probably not going to get it, I don't really have as much of a use for it, it still means that there was enough interest in the Steam Deck that it pushed an industry to start, and now we have the industry of cheap gaming computers, even in that are handheld. $600 for a handheld that potentially, I mean, PS5s are what, $700? Like, it's around the same price as a PS5 now, and like it performs probably just as well, given what I've seen from it. Yeah. So that's amazing. But now it's in palm
of your hand. A larger collection of games. Yeah. You have so much stuff you can do with it. Emulate, like it's a computer, like it is all around better. I will be very excited for the day when consoles just get phased out. I know that's not going to happen for a long time, but I will be very excited when consoles just get phased out. Like, and I think this is a step towards that, because people also like. Exactly what you're saying. They want to bring that shit around with them, and they want to be able to play it like wherever they're going, and not be like stuck in one place. You know? Yeah.
At the end of the day, these are just consoles. PCs are just consoles. I mean, the word console doesn't really mean much. I feel like maybe there will be a day where like Sony and Microsoft start making things like this, and you know, that's their console and that's their competition. I mean, maybe Nintendo's ahead of their time with the Switch. They had a handheld console. Maybe we'll see these other competitors do it. Who knows? But like, this is a really good step in the right direction for this industry. Like, crazy price that Asus has here, crazy performance. It's awesome. I'm happy it exists, and the fact that the Steam Deck already got replaced by something, that means like it's moving fast. Other companies are going to see it and start doing it. Valve themselves are probably going to look for how they're going to beat this thing now, right?
I mean, I think they've already said that they already said that they're working on the Steam Deck too, right? Like, yes. That's already been talked about. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much further all this gets pushed. So, yeah.
So I'm happy that exists. Anyhow. Also, I forgot to mention it when we were talking about games real quick, but it's also Diablo 4 beta weekend, so if anyone's interested in playing it, there's that. But no other news from that. I think that's about it for me, really. I think those are a lot of the interesting topics that happened this week. I'm surprised how much there was. Like, it felt like a dead week, especially with Zelda coming out. Every time Nintendo does a big release, like Zelda, for example, companies don't release anything. They're smarter than that, right? And surprisingly, there was still a lot of news. I'm very surprised. And of course, the Google news really surprised me, and I think a lot of people, that they even talked about VR. So I'm happy that that's still a discussion.
That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
For sure. Do you have anything to add, or did you want to end it off here? How are you feeling?
No, I think you hit pretty much everything that I can even think about. So yeah, I'm good.
That's good. Well, hopefully next week you got more. We'll see. Anyways, please join me. Let's cover the camera until we have an outro. This is our outro. Hit it with a big. I can't even walk up to it. What the heck? Okay, here we go. I'm in the middle. Smack it.
Smack
it.
We're
done.
Smack.